Hey YouTube, welcome to Tinker with Tools. Tonight we are going to be talking about two titans in the hammer drill industry. We are going to be putting the Makita XGT up against the Flex Turbo hammer drill. So let's go ahead and get into that tonight on Tinker with Tools. Alright, so as I mentioned, we're going to be putting the Makita XGT hammer drill up against the Flex Turbo hammer drill. I really do feel like these are two of the top tier of hammer drills that is out there right now, and both of them have some really impressive features about them. So I do want to kind of just talk about them in general. We'll go over some of the features and some of the things that I like about each one of them. We'll do some testing, and then we're going to wrap it up with some conclusions and talk about the pros and cons of each of these. So let's go ahead and get started first with the Flex Turbo. The Flex Turbo hammer drill has a couple of unique features to it, one being that turbo mode. In just the regular operation, this is going to be 550 RPMs and 2000 RPMs in speed 1 and speed 2. But when you activate turbo mode, you go up to 700 RPMs in speed 1 and 2500 in speed 2. And that 2500 really does kind of put it up there at the top of what you can see in hammer drills. There are a couple that do beat it. There are some specialty tools, but in terms of its regular competition, it is pretty premium in terms of that feature. Now, you may have seen the recent video on Torque Test channel where they actually tested this and the Makita both. And one of the things that they did notice about this is when you do push it for a while in that turbo mode, it eventually will shut off. And that is one thing that is a little bit different about this from maybe other hammer drills, is it seems to only be able to reach that up to a certain point, and then it kind of thermally overloads. And when it does that, it doesn't allow the tool to access that turbo mode. I've even heard from some users that after real heavy use of the turbo mode, it just won't even turn on for them anymore. Now, obviously, if that is the case, I do think that's a warranty issue, and I think that's something where you should take care of, but it is a unique feature that does kind of give it that thing. The other thing that is fairly unique to Flex is going to be the stacked lithium battery. Right now, the only other company that can say that they have that in the power tool industry is going to be that of DeWalt. Now, Flex is actually going to be offering some of the bigger batteries, and right here on this tool tonight, we are going to be running the 6 amp hour stacked lithium battery. Now, that is a premium battery that offers a lot of output in terms of what it can produce. And so when you're talking about a power hungry tool like this hammer drill, that is a good choice to pair with it. Previously in our testing, we actually tested this drill with the 3.5 stacked lithium and with the 5 amp hour, and I actually found that it performed better on the 5. So it's going to be interesting to see how this performs on the 6 amp hour. All my initial testing, it is a beast of a battery and certainly going to be up. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you've seen me talk about this Makita XGT hammer drill a couple of different times. When I purchased the Makita XGT kit, I did so for the impact driver. And ultimately, I was a little let down by the impact driver. But what I wasn't let down by, just how different it was from the LXT version of their kind of top tier hammer drill, that XPH14. This drill is something different entirely. Once again, it has a couple of unique features about it that do give it kind of some interesting specs. Now, when I talked about with the Flex about it being a little bit of a higher speed hammer drill when it was in that turbo mode, the Makita XGT is actually just a higher speed drill overall. Down in speed 1, you're only going to be going down as low as 650 RPMs. And then in speed 2, it goes to 2600 RPMs. So when I was raving, how most of them are going to be down at that 2000 mark and how the Flex is different up at 2500, this one reaches even higher and goes up to that 2600. And then some of the other unique features about it is going to be the clutch. This thing has the most insanely complex clutch you're going to find anywhere. It is a digital clutch, and what you're going to be able to do is in speed 2, 21 different clutch positions that you select down here with a little digital output. And then when you drop down into speed 1, you're actually going to have your pick of 42 different clutch positions. So it does give you a high degree of precision in theory to be able to kind of go and do that. The rest of it operates pretty normally. In fact, on paper, this one is down on torque to the Flex. Now, one of the common themes about this tool is going to be kind of how much Makita lets it loose. And what I mean by that is this drill feels like the fastest, strongest drill up to a certain point. And when you hit that certain point, the tool just says, nope, not going to do it. That can be frustrating, I think, for some people who are wanting to push the tool more. But at the same time, Makita has put those kind of safeguards in place to make sure that this tool operates reliably for years to come. Okay, so I've shown you the specs for each of these drills. We're going to go ahead and put them through 3 different phases of testing now. We are going to do some driving tests. We are going to do some hammer drill tests tonight, and then we're going to be going over to the drilling area and doing a bunch of different drilling tests. We're going to kind of base all their cumulative times together and show you which one is victorious. But let's go ahead and show you the testing, and then we'll come back and talk about these results. Okay, dropping to speed 1. All right, dropping to speed 1. All right, so in the testing tonight, I was actually a little bit surprised. I don't have final numbers yet, but I can tell you that both drills pretty much did exactly what I would expect it to and kept on going and didn't really quit. Even when I got on the driving test with that really big 3/8 by 8 inch lag, both of them did it. The Flex did it a little bit interestingly. When you heard that motor go, it almost like dropped down into a different gear of sorts. The turbo light was still on, I was still up in speed 2, but it did kind of just kick down a little bit, and still drive the screw home, but it's almost like it was doing some sort of trickery inside the tool. The Makita, I was fully expecting it to cut out driving that. Yet tonight it drove it home and everything was great. I think both of these drills are pretty awesome. The Flex, in my opinion, is just a big old brute of a tool and is going to be able to do things that most other tools are not able to do. The turbo button really enables you to kind of whip through some stuff pretty fast. And I have to say, the stacked lithium batteries, I'm really a big fan of them, especially for when you're doing some of these higher demand tasks and you're going to be able to really get the power when you need it. Now the Makita, on the other hand, I'm actually running this tonight on a 4 amp hour battery, and that is not something that you can usually get it kitted with. Normally you're going to be coming with the 2.5 amp hour, which is basically the equivalent of an 18 volt 5 amp hour battery. And so it is pretty close in size to the base battery that you used to get on the Flex. But now they do offer it in that stacked lithium kit. This is an extra battery. They do run promotions quite often. In the testing Torque Test channel did, they didn't really see a whole lot of difference between the batteries. I do think it feels like it's a little bit peppier on the bigger battery, but that could just be placebo effect at this point. I think the big difference for me is just going to be the comfort of use and the precision of the Makita. I really like this hammer drill. It is very clearly one of my top tools that I have. The Flex gets pulled out for certain jobs, but the Makita, if I need a heavy duty drill, is going to be the one that I'm going to grab for most things. And I just really do like it. I do think that concrete drilling is not a strong suit of it. On paper, the specs should be pretty good, but it always seems to be a little bit slower than what I'm getting there. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe the times show differently. I don't know. The auxiliary handle on the Makita, in my opinion, is the best auxiliary handle out there. It's got some really good contact points all the way around the top of the drill here. It's made out of nice materials. The gauge of this pipe that's kind of going through here seems to be thicker than just about anyone. And then it also comes with an included depth gauge. If not every tool has that, and it's just really solid. Now the Flex is by no means a bad handle. It also has a couple of different contact points that it grabs onto. It just feels like a much simpler, less premium handle. And so I think that's where the Makita stands out a little bit. The charger you get with the Flex is the same charger pretty much on everything. It's a 160 watt fast charger. In most cases, that would be the best charger in what you're going up against. But the Makita XGT chargers are really quite premium. All right, so there you have it. We now have both of these tools tested against each other. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments below which one of these two would you choose for the work that you do. I get that people are going to have preferences and these aren't going to be the top tools for everyone, but they really are two impressive hammer drills. And if you haven't looked at them and are in the need for one, go ahead and check them out. I do think they're quite awesome. They are going to be on the pricier side, but I think they're well worth the price in terms of the performance that you get out of them. Go ahead and let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have any questions about either drill, go ahead and drop those in the comments. And if you want to see either one of these tested against something else, let me know what your recommendations are there. If you like the video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And as always, I will catch you next time on Tinker with Tools.